ranking Premier League managers based on their playing career. I've put it into a nice little tier list. We've got unreal baller, we've got good player, we've got bang average, and we've got who, what, when, which essentially means I didn't even have a clue that this guy actually had any sort of a playing career. But before I begin, if you are new here, please smash a subscription and a thumbs up. It will be greatly appreciated. But let's get straight into it, guys, and let's start off with Tottenham Hotspur's Ange Postecoglou, Big Ange. And let's just look at his career. To be honest, I couldn't find a single thing. He played for South Melbourne. He's obviously had 2 caps with the national career. He's had 2, caps for Australia, sorry. He's obviously retired a very, very long time ago. But yeah, absolutely no information, Mr. Ange. You're a great manager. You've obviously have some sort of philosophy. But in terms of a playing career, absolutely nothing, mate. In 1883-84, he won an Australian Championship. But that's just about it, really, Mr. Ange. So, unfortunately, I hate to do this. I love the way you play football. But you're going to have to go into who, what, when. It may change later on, but I very much doubt it with a playing career like that. He's won more trophies than Tottenham Hotspur, to be fair. So, fair play to him, sorry. But let's just get into the next guy. And we're going to go for Russell Martin. And Russell Martin actually had a sort of decent career, He's actually played in the Premier League. 30 games in the Premier League, actually, for Norwich, which is pretty good stuff. 17 goals across his career. 12 assists. Mainly plays centre-half, right-back. Pretty much a solid little player, to be honest. He's been all over the place, really. Norwich, Rangers, Walsall, MK Dons. I think it's solid, to be honest. If we're looking at him compared to Ange Postecoglou, he's definitely above him in terms of a playing career, playing at the highest level, playing in the Championship, the FA Cup. These are big things for a player, and I can't lie, he's also won himself a cheeky little trophy, winning the English third-tier championship with Norwich City. So fair play, Mr. Russell Martin. You can get yourself into good player. I know that may change later on, but I'm just thinking about him compared to the other Premier League managers. He probably has had a better career than many of them, so he doesn't deserve to be any lower. But let's move on to Mr. Baldman, Mr. Erik Ten Hag, Mr. United at the minute, and let's just look at his career. Obviously played in the Eredivisie, played centre-half, defensive midfielder, left back, left mid, centre mid, right back, centre forward. He has played all over the park, and he's had 6 goals, 11 assists for FC Twente, couple of goals, nearly 300 appearances for, in the Eredivisie, the top flight. I think that's pretty respectable, Mr. Ten Hag. I feel like that is a pretty good career you've got yourself there. And if we look at what he has won as well, he has won himself a Dutch Cup in 2000-2001. So I feel like this is a respectable career, and I feel like it would be quite rude to put him in the same career as, Ange Postecoglou, in the same tier as him. So I think I'm going to slap him in just a good player. I know it sounds crazy, but 300 appearances in the Eredivisie, centre-half, solid centre-half, scored a couple goals as well, pretty pivotal for the teams he's played in. I think he has got himself a pretty solid career, and I'm sure there's going to be some stinkers of careers from managers, so he has to be in that sort of tier. Let us move on, though, to Mr. Pep Guardiola. I feel like this guy is going to be in a league of his own, to be honest. 384 appearances for Barcelona, 11 goals, 56 assists, Played 47 games for Spain, and come on, let's now look at his accolades. 6-time Spanish champion, 1-time Euro Pokal, 5-time Spanish Cup winner, 2-time Spanish Cup winner, Super Cup winner, I meant for the 5 times, 2-time UEFA Super Cup winner, Champions League winner, and an Olympic gold medalist. I don't even think we need to stay on this one for too long. Mr. Pep Guardiola, you are in a league of your own as a manager, and you also are in a league of your own as a player. I'm just trying to find him on here. I don't even think he's here. But Mr. Pep Guardiola, there you are. Bang. Beautiful stuff. Unreal baller. Absolute baller, Mr. Pep Guardiola. Let us now move on to Arne Slot. Yeah, Liverpool fans absolutely going to love that. He has played all over the park. Centre forward, left wing, right wing, attacking mid, right mid, centre mid, DM. He is a workman. You can really tell he put the graft in for his club. And to be honest, 188 games, 60 goals, 30 assists. Wow, Mr. Slot. I nearly called him Ten Hag. That would be disrespectful. Mr. Slot, 208 games in Eredivisie as well. 27 goals, 24 assists. I mean, this is quite impressive, to be honest, Mr. Slot. Let's now look at what he's won. I don't think it's very much, to be honest. Player of the Year in the Jupiler League in 2011-12. Two-time Dutch second-tier champion with FC Zwolle. I mean, Mr. Slot, that's a pretty decent career if you're telling me. But is it on the same level as Ten Hag and Russell Martin? For now, you're gonna go into good player. I feel like that is deserved, Mr. Slot. But so far, I'm pretty happy with how things are looking. Maybe a couple of guys in good player could go down a notch, but for now, this is what we're looking like. Now let's move on, and now we're gonna go with Super Mikel Arteta, my team. Mr. Arteta, what do you have for me? I watch this guy week in, week out, and I mean, he was a pretty average player, but I'm thinking about the grand scheme of things amongst the other managers. Obviously, 284 Premier League appearances, 42 goals, 41 assists, pretty decent, you know, 167 games in central midfield. Everton, Arsenal, Rangers, Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona B, Real Sociedad, Arsenal under 21. He has had some decent minutes, 31 Champions League games. This is a good player, and if we look at what he's won, to be fair, as a player, pretty decent. 2015 FA Cup, 2014 FA Cup, 2 times English Super Cup winner. Obviously, that's the Community Shield. 1-time Scottish Cup winner, 1-time Scottish champion, 1-time Scottish League Cup winner too. Mr. Arteta, that is a very, very good career. But I'm just thinking, against the other players, is he really in the Russell Martin, Ten Hag, Arne Slot tier? I feel like that's disrespectful. So for now, Mr. Arteta, you are an unreal baller, but it might actually require me to move Russell Martin, Ten Hag, Slot down one, and then Arteta down one. I feel like that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, let us not jib-jab and get us moving now. Let's go on to the next person. And it is Mr. Eddie Howe of Newcastle United. What type of career have you got for me? Obviously, Arteta is actually a player I can recall his career on. Mr. Eddie Howe, I mean, 187 second division sort of appearances, 10 goals, 70 League One appearances, 9 FA Cup appearances, EFL Cup. You can tell the sort of player he was. He was a proper workman, centre half as well. Fits the way he manages as well, I feel like. 46, fairly young. So the latest season he played was 07-08, where he retired at FC Bournemouth. He's been at Portsmouth, Swindon, Bournemouth. Pretty solid sort of career. I feel like that, Mr. Eddie Howe, I feel like for me, it is bang average. It's a bang average. Having a nice second division sort of career with a bit of League One, it's pretty bang average. Not on the levels, I think, of the other managers at the minute. But yeah, I think bang average proper does suit Mr. Eddie Howe. But let us not jib-jab and move on to the next one. And it's Mr. Gary O'Neill. And when I was looking at this guy, I was like, wow. 192 appearances for Portsmouth, scoring 17 goals, 9 assists. 214 Premier League appearances, 16 goals, 15 assists. Obviously could play defensive midfield and central midfield. Probably his best sort of positions. Right mid is in there, left mid, attacking mid, right wing. Obviously very good. But this is a pretty good career. I'm not going to lie. It's top. It's top, to be honest. And I feel like it's only fair, Mr. Gary O'Neill, that we give you, I think, is it bang average? It's a tough one. It really is a tough one for Mr. Gary O'Neill. I think bang average is about right, guys. Let me know in the comments, but I do not know here. Mr. Gary O'Neill. 215 Premier League appearances. Very solid. Very solid. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to move Slot and Ten Hag down one. And have Arteta in there then. Arteta's obviously ahead of Gary O'Neill. Doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm going to have to move these guys in sort of the positions that their careers rank. I think that's fair. I think that is very fair, guys. Let us just move on to the next guy. And it's Julen Lopetegui. Mr. Lopetegui, 127 La Liga appearances, 46 La Liga 2 appearances. Obviously a goalkeeper, our first goalkeeper on there. I was looking at some clips, pretty solid keeper. I mean, anything to write home about? Not really. Has had consecutive seasons as being a number one across his career as SCD Logrones, Rayo Vallecano, Castilla CF, sorry. Las Palmas, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Didn't play much in those last three clubs. But I think it's all right. Let's look at what he has won. Mr. Julen Lopetegui. One-time Spanish champion, one-time Spanish Cup winner, five-time Spanish Super Cup winner, and a one-time Euro Pokal skill. I'm not going to even bother saying the rest of that. But, I mean, it's all right. Mr. Lopetegui. I think you can get yourself into bang average as well. I feel like that is fair. Good sort of things he's won, but he wasn't really an integral part of that. But he's played in the top division. Mr. Eddie Howe, I can't say the same for you. So you find yourself at the back of that queue. Now, let us move on to Enzo Maresca, Chelsea manager. DM, centre mid, attacker mid, right mid, left wing. Proper grafter. 138 games for Sevilla. 21 goals, 9 assists. 58 games for Juventus. 6 goals, 10 assists. 51 games for West Brom in there. 5 goals. And I mean, he's had Champions League games, 18 Champions League games, 19 Italian Cup games, 135 La Liga appearances, 167 Serie A appearances. And I mean, look at the stuff he's won as well. He has been pretty decent. One-time Italian champion, one-time UEFA Super Cup winner, two-time UEFA Cup winner, one-time Spanish Cup winner, one-time Super Spanish Cup winner, one-time Italianisca. I'm not even going to bother. I mean, this is solid, guys. This is proper solid, Mr. Maresca. You've given me a big problem. Big problem. Mr. Maresca, it would be proper unfair to put you in bang average. I think you might be on unreal baller. Those sort of appearances, integral part to those trophies your team's won. Can I say the same for the people in the tier below? No. Mr. Maresca, you are going in unreal baller behind Pep Guardiola. I think that's fair, guys. Let me know. That was a tough one. I think he's won quite a lot. I think he's played a lot of games for those clubs, but I feel like that is the right position for Mr. Enzo Maresca. Let us move on to Mr. Good Evening, Mr. Unai Emery. Look at his playing career. Not much to write home about at all, to be honest here. 81 games in La Liga 2. 7 goals, I mean, 92 total appearances. 13 years sort of long career. Played for Real Sociedad B, Real Sociedad as well. Went to CD Toledo, went to Racing Ferrol, went to CD Leganes. I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Unai. You are a fantastic manager. You played left midfield. You are a fantastic manager. Sorry. But you might have to actually go in who, what, when. It's cruel, but that's sort of a career. Decent 72 apps in the second division, but nothing really of note. And I think it's fair. I think it wouldn't be fair to put him in the same sort of tier as the Slots and Ten Hags with the careers they've had. Established first division players there with a couple of second division games in them as well. I feel like that's fair. To put him there. But let us just move on to the next guy on this list, Mr. Oliver Glasner, Mr. Crystal Palace. Let's have a look at you right now. And I mean, oh, that Nathan Ake ad is there. Not doing Pep Guardiola right now. But here we go. 410 Bundesliga appearances. Obviously, this is the Austrian league. 21 goals, 7 assists. He played centre-half and defensive midfield. A lot of games there. Top level in Austria. Played for Lask, SV Ried. Those are some big clubs, but is it of note? Is it really a career of note? Let's look at what he has won. 2-time Austrian Cup winner, 1-time Austrian Second League champion, Mr. Glasner. He has really given me a big headache. I don't know where to put him. It is between bang average and who, what, when. If I could smash him in the middle of that, it'll be great. But 410 top level appearances. I mean, we're looking at the players of today who are just racking in the appearances. Nathaniel Klein's of this world, obviously a fantastic player. I'm just thinking of sort of players who currently now are just in that mid-table sort of zone, but don't get talked about a lot. And I feel like Glasner was that sort of player in the Austrian league. No Champions League appearances to his name. But Eddie Howe was essentially on this. I'm going to put him in here. Take it a bit. I'm going to put Mr. Oliver Glasner in bang average. I feel like that's fair. I feel like I'm happy with everything as it stands. Very tricky this. Very tricky. But let us move on. And next on the list is Mr. Stevie Cooper from Leicester City. And let us go and have a sneaky little look. And I mean, there's nothing really of note here. 16 total games, 4 goals. Oh, 16, 17 year long career. Stints at Birmingham on loan, Peterborough, Tranmere, Wigan, York City, Ayr United. Centre forward, and you're scoring 4 goals across your career. I mean, that says the story, to be honest. Mr. Stevie Cooper, I'm afraid this was a quick one, but you're going to have to go very much into who, what, when. But let's just keep rolling in. Let's do Thomas Frank left next. And when I searched up Thomas Frank, he didn't actually have a playing career. So, to be honest, Thomas, great manager again, but no playing career. You're straight on the bottom of that sort of tier list. Didn't make it to professional footballer. Obviously, made it in management, which is absolutely fantastic for him. Next up, Mr. Nuno Espírito Santo. And I mean, very interesting sort of career. 17 La Liga 2 appearances, 39 Liga Portugal appearances, 37 La Liga appearances, 18 Taça de Portugal appearances, 8 Champions League appearances as well. I mean, proper solid. And he's won quite a lot too as a player, as a goalkeeper. Another goalkeeper on here. Champions League winner, Spanish Cup winner with Deportivo, UEFA Cup winner, 4 times Portuguese champion, 3 times Portuguese Cup winner, 3 times Portuguese Super Cup winner. And I think I've made my decision with him. He wasn't really a massive integral part, but he was involved, and involved to a very, very high sort of degree. The trophies is one as well. You're going top of the bang average. Top of the bang. If there was a middle part in there, Mr. Nuno, you would be there. But I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's very, very fair, to be honest. He didn't play a bucket load of games across his career in the top divisions. Obviously, with Jose Mourinho's Porto winning the Champions League. But I feel like that is fair. Now down to the final 5. And we're going to begin with Kieran McKenna, whose career, I didn't really have much to get from it. He obviously began in 2004 and ended in 2009. Obviously didn't get to the professional level because, I don't know, probably injuries, probably just wasn't good enough, to be honest. So, Mr. Kieran McKenna, unfortunately for you, you're into the pile of who, what, when. At least you had any sorts of career ahead of Thomas Frank. But, I mean, yeah, let's just quickly move on to the next one. And it is Mr. Fabian Hürzeler of Brighton and Albion. He's one of the youngest ever managers, if not the youngest actually. 291 professional appearances, 32 goals, 17 assists. Nothing really even in the top level. His highest level he's played at is the 3rd division in Germany. I don't feel like this is a career which can even be in the bang average sort of column. So Mr. Hürzeler, with the greatest of respects to you as a manager, you have to go straight into bang average. Just in there. I feel like that's fair. I feel like this is a fair order. And then let's just quickly move on to Mr. Sean Dyche. Mr. Sean Dyche, Everton gaffer. 90 appearances in the 1st division, 74 and 77 2nd division, sorry. I just absolutely waffled there. 262 total appearances with 6 goals, 1 assist. Playing for Northampton, Watford, Millwall, Bristol, Luton, Chesterfield and Forest. Tough one to gauge. But I feel like he's had a bucket load of appearances. It would be so disrespectful to put him in a tier of who, what, when, to be honest with you. I feel like Mr. Sean Dyche, you can go into bang average. Bang average, 272 appearances, 1st division in there, 2nd division in there too. I feel like that's fair enough. Championship appearances, League One appearances. feel like that is fair for you. But let us move on to the next guy, Marco Silva, who actually had nothing to write about in terms of his footballing career. So again, with Mr. Thomas Frank, into the who, what, when. And that leaves us with Mr. Andoni Iraola, who actually had 406 La Liga appearances playing for Atletico Bilbao, New York City, obviously a Basque sort of guy, so he's going to get a lot of appearances. He's played in the Europa League, UEFA Cup, and let's see, he's not won anything, to be honest, of note, but he's had appearances with Spain, 7 appearances in Spain, who have an unreal squad in 2008 as well as a defensive midfielder. I feel like that's a proper respectable sort of career. A lot of La Liga appearances in there too. So I feel like 407 appearances, it's got to go in there. It's got to go in there. Mr. Andoni Iraola, you can go in there. And I feel it's fair. I feel it is very, very fair indeed. I feel like Mikel Arteta, it might be really, really strict on him to put him in good player. Is the Arsenal biased? Guys may come for me. But I think I'm going to take... Oh, what the hell? I think I'm going to take it, guys. I'm going to put him in unreal baller. And I'm tempted. I'm really tempted to move Unai Emery up one. But I think I'm going to have to stick or twist, guys. So let me know your thoughts on this sort of list. Is it fair or is it not fair? Let me know down below.